Okay, hi everybody. I'm here with Miriam, and Miriam is a great teacher in Brazil. How are you doing today, Miriam?
I am great, and it's very nice to be here with you one more time. It's for a long time that we haven't met to talk, so thanks for inviting me for this podcast one more time.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. I know you're very busy, and yeah, we've done I don't know how many,
Two
maybe
or
two or three podcasts.
yes, two or three podcasts last year, I think it was like, and actually we did some lives on Instagram too, and some podcasts.
That's right. You have what's it, Teacher Miriam? Is that your
Yes,
Instagram?
underscore. Yes, my Instagram. It's
Teacher Miriam
at
underscore.
teacher.
I'll put that in the notes. So
Yes, great.
tell us a little bit about the ages of the students that you teach.
Okay, I have been working with the students, first grade students, 6 and 7 years old. This year is specific. I have been working in a big school, so I have 11 groups of first grade students. They are at
Wow.
age 6 and 7, and I also teach online some students of 8 years old, but at school, every single day with students of age 6.
Age 6. Okay. And
Yes,
how big
yes.
are your classes?
Yes, my classes are for about between 21 and 24 students. It's a big class.
Big classes.
Yes,
And
yes,
are
it is.
you the only teacher in the class, or do you have assistants helping you, or?
No, sometimes I have a helper, but I am the only teacher in the classroom. Yes. The helper comes, in time just to help me with some problems going to the toilet but not helping me in English. I'm the only one that speaks in English with them.
Okay, great, great. And we talked a little bit before the podcast about an interesting question that you're having a little challenge with your students at the moment. Why
Yeah.
don't you talk a little bit about that, and we'll see if I can
Yes.
help you a little bit.
Yes, I would like to have from you, Matt, some suggestions about, that transition moment when it's English time and the students are finishing or have finished some science lesson or Portuguese, because in Brazil we speak Portuguese, and they are finishing some Portuguese lesson and it's English time. So they are still in that vibe, in that what they were doing, and I come into the classroom and I'm taking time to get them organized. The classroom management with these kids of, especially 6 7 years old, they are still exciting about one activity, and then I'm taking a lot of time to get them organized, to look at me. Okay, guys, because I get their books to give it to them. So we here in Brazil, I am not talking only about by myself, because I have been talking to another teachers. We are struggling about this transition moment, even if I go to their classroom or if they come to my English class, because some schools we have a space only for English class. Some schools we go to their classroom, their regular classroom. So they have so many things to get distracted, and
Mm,
then we are taking time to get them looking at us. So I would like to have some ideas from you, and then I could share something that I have been doing too.
okay, yeah, I'd love to hear that too. So I have some similar situations where I go teach at schools where the students only have English even twice a month for
Okay.
like 30 minutes.
Wow.
So and that can be a bit of a challenge, but there's a few things I would say. The one thing that just occurred to me before I get into what I would do right when I get in the classroom is
Hmm.
establish some rules and maybe even using the student's own native language that you can talk to them. When you see me come into the classroom, I'm the English teacher, and I expect you to behave like this. I expect you to have good behavior. When I come in, you're gonna be quiet and listen to me because this is English time and it's different. So maybe even before you get to the classroom, if you say that at the end of the class every time to remind them, now when I come next time, remember what are the three things you're going to do? You're going to sit down, you're going to be quiet, and you're going to put your hands on your desk. Something like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
they might not do it or it might take them a while to get used to it, but after a while they might get this idea like, oh, here comes the English teacher and also, some of the students will do it and then other students might follow.
Yeah, that
So the beginning of my classes, all the students know they have to come sit in the front.
okay.
I have kind of smaller classes. I'm not teaching any really big classes right now, but if it was many students, they'd have to sit at their desks or whatever and be quiet. And that's before I get started.
Mm-hmm.
The next idea I have, so once we've kind of established what the beginning of the class should be, especially that age, I always do these warm-ups, and I think maybe I've showed them to you too, where I'll come in and the kids, I'll be like, okay, sit down, it's time to start, and say hello or good morning, and then right away, clap your hands. Clap, clap, clap. Wash your hands. Wash, wash, wash.
Great.
Shake your hands. Shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth. Brush, brush, brush. Comb your hair. Comb, comb, comb. And you can extend that with the let's go up, 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 down, up, 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 up. Touch your nose. There's stuff you can add on. Um, but I always do that at the beginning of every class up to about 7 or 8 years old because that's an immediate change from their native language, and they know that after being in my classes for a while, and then right away they're like, okay, this is English time, and it kind of lets them warm up into English, kind of like if you went to like sports class and you always are going to warm up your body with stretching first.
Yeah, yeah, because here we are talking about TPR and body movement that they can connect to us, right?
Exactly.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
And the thing is, for me too, maybe I haven't taught since last week, or maybe it's been a holiday, I haven't taught for a week or two. If I always know the first thing that I'm going to do in the class, then that relaxes me because after I've done that, then like, okay, now we're ready for English class. So it kind of
Mhm.
warms me up as well that, okay, I'm back in the English teaching mode from
And
what I was doing before.
yes, I like that. Let me tell you something that I sometimes now you mentioned something very important to make some arrangement with them. Okay, guys, next class, and then repeat and repeat and repeat over and over again because they do
Yeah,
forget.
right.
And sometimes, as I said, we mix the language because sometimes we, with some kind of instruction, we have to give to them some um, instruction in our native language because this way they will comprehend. And what I have been trying to do is I usually count. I enter in the room, they are in a mess, getting organized with the history books and, so many materials, cutting or pasting something. And then I count from 1 to 10. And I say in Portuguese, okay, guys, I will count from 1 to 10. When I finish, we will start. Put the books under the table or maybe put the books away. And then I start counting slowly
Mhm.
1 until 10, and this way they start. Okay, teacher is here. Teacher Miriam is here. Teacher Miriam is here. Because otherwise, Matt, they don't they don't realize that I am in the class, or maybe they keep doing what they are doing. So,
Mm.
and then I take more time to get them into the English class. So I am usually doing the counting too.
Yeah, I think the counting's good. You could try counting backwards. Sometimes
Oh.
that's very effective with kids because it's kind of like a little pressure. 10, 9, 8. 7, 6, 5. Let's go. 4, almost. 3, 2, 1. It's English time. Here we go. Clap your hands. Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah, the idea of counting backwards, which is interesting too. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I like
actually,
it.
when I was in Taiwan recently doing the school shows before, I did 3 classes of, well, there were 3 groups of students, and before each group came in, the teachers at the school counted down from 10 to 1 before I came on to stage and started. So I
Oh,
thought
that's nice.
that was good. Yeah, get some focused and um. So the other thing is, you have to give the students a little time also to get into English class, right? Because it's maybe a little hard for them. So a little understanding that, like for the kids, they're going from this like always understanding what's going on. They understand the language to all of a sudden somebody's speaking to them in a language that they don't understand. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Um, you have to kind of give a little bit of can't think of the word right now, but just let the students relax. Let the students relax into it. And then if you do the countdown 10 to 1, and then you do the warm up, and then you say, okay, let's sing a song. So every beginning of the class is exactly the same. Count 10 to 1, clap your hands, clap, 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 and then let's sing open, shut them, or whatever you want to do. Shake, shake, shake it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then maybe by the end of that, more and more students will be focused, and you don't have to worry too much or think too much about the kids who are a little bit slower getting ready and getting into the class. Maybe that's okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. You said that I have to give them time to, something. The transition needs to happen in their brains too, right? Because this way they will connect to us. And sometimes it's hard because, for example, when you mentioned that some classes have a English class like twice a month. So,
Right.
see, and then we think, okay, 40 minutes, or maybe. If you think that maybe we have to spend more time in the beginning of the class to get them connected, and this way, if you think about 40 minutes, you spend 10 minutes getting them organized, but you have effective 30 minutes of class, right?
Yeah, yeah, and the thing is too, some kids will be ready to start right from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're
Yes.
gonna have some kids that are gonna follow along right away, clap their hands, clap, 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 and then other kids, it might take them till after the song to get focused, but some kids will be, you might have half and half, or and then maybe slowly it'll grow that more kids are focused from the beginning, but it could be different. So for me, like I have students, I'm sure all teachers have had students that are quite difficult that don't want to focus at all throughout the entire class, no matter what I do as a teacher.
Yeah.
They might come in and out a little bit. I think that's probably fairly common with a lot of teachers I talk to. And if you're teaching a lot of kids, you don't have time and you don't want to spend the energy to just discipline that one child over and over and over again. Say, stop, sit down, stop, sit down. Sometimes you have to,
Yeah.
but you also have to just keep going with what you're doing. You have your plan, and you're going to go through it, and then you just try to bring more and more and more and more students into it. And if you do stuff that's familiar with the students, songs they enjoy, songs they know, they're more likely to join in than if you start the class with a song that they've never heard before. Of
Yeah.
course, at the beginning you have to teach them the
To
songs,
teach
but
them. And they actually, when we see that they enjoy the song, they get involved easily because they are connected. Especially when I work with songs like your songs, they get connected because the language, the the body language that you do, with your hands or maybe dancing around, especially with the little kids, preschool students and first grade students, they are still in this vibe. They like participating. So I get this to me. And for example, sometimes, Matt, one video, I try to extract everything I can from that video, the vocabulary. I make some visual support about the video because this way students connect and they are listening. Because even if I am not speaking in English, they are listening to the song and they are, paying attention. So this for me is very important, especially when we have big groups, because sometimes I cannot, every class, I cannot watch closely, all the students, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel bad about that, but this is the system. This is how it works. And sometimes when I see that, okay, they like that video, I can let them, some students getting involved with the videos, and then I go in the back of the classroom and talk to the one student that are still sitting down looking at me with that face. Because nowadays some students, especially the little ones, sometimes they have some attitudes. They say, no, I don't want to
Mm.
stand up. And they make funny faces and, giving attitude. I say, no, no, come here, let's dance. I'm telling you to dance, but I cannot force them, right?
Right.
I cannot force them to do what they don't want to do.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
sometimes,
it's interesting being in my position where I've been fortunate to see videos of classrooms all around the world, thankfully using my songs, that some videos I see and all the kids are just totally into it. But a lot of people send me videos and like, Matt, look at my classroom, the students sing your song, and they're always wonderful. But I'm always interested to see that sometimes there's three or four or five kids that aren't paying any attention. So they send the video and like so like maybe more than most kids are usually paying attention and singing to
uh-huh,
the video and stuff. But
uh-huh.
there's always a few kids, it seems, it's maybe around the world that for I mean, who knows, maybe they got a bad night's sleep, maybe they didn't eat enough breakfast. They're kids, so you always have to keep all that in mind as well,
Yeah,
that
yes,
not
and this.
everybody is going to be focused.
Yes, and this is common. Unfortunately, this is common. I always say, okay, everybody. I usually sing a song. Everybody, please stand up, and then I call by their names. Okay, please stand up. Let's come in the front of the class. But some students, they don't want to come, and I always say, okay, if you don't want to come, okay, do it in your chair. You want to keep sitting down, no problem. For example, doing the shapes, because that video, this class happened today. I was doing a circle, a triangle. Okay, let me see if you can make the shape. Let me see a square. Let me see the heart. And then I was trying to teach the rectangle. Okay, let me see if you can make a rectangle. So I try to reach them, even
Mhm.
if they are not participating, but I try. Of course, that sometimes we cannot reach all the students in the same day, but we
Yeah.
the thing is we need to keep trying, right? To get them involved.
Yes, and also even I'm sometimes surprised by the students who don't seem to be paying much attention, and then when I ask them a question in English, they respond very well. So sometimes I think like, oh, that student's not paying attention, they're not interested, and they're not focused. And then later on in the class, we might be doing some other activity, and they're either very good at that activity or just they actually were listening to what I was teaching or the lyrics of the song, but for some reason they don't want to dance or I don't know.
Yes,
It,
we have to understand that they have their own personalities.
yeah,
Sometimes they are not into songs. Sometimes their families are very, different that we are used to. But we have to understand, of course. But when we think about teaching English, we always want to bring this joy, because English it's always talking about dancing and leaving the idiom, especially young young people, because we need to teach them how to dance, or actions that they have to move their body and to understand. Otherwise, I will be translating everything, so I need to
Right.
make some act to be like an actor, to try to get them involved into the topic, and this way they will learn. And I like to do with songs because they keep singing even when I finish the class. So maybe I always try to get them singing without the song. I put the song really low, and then they are still singing out loud. So this way they
Great.
go out of the classroom, still singing about the fruit, about shapes, or about numbers, the topic I am teaching.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I actually just have one other idea for the transition.
Uh-huh.
This is something that I started doing in my classes, I don't know, a year or so ago, but take attendance, which means calling every student's name. You have a little checklist. I don't know if you can get the students' names for the big classes, and it would take a little while with 26 kids,
Yeah, yeah.
but you just read the names and then they have to say yes. And the good thing about that is that first of all, students like everybody likes hearing their name,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And they know that you're acknowledging that they're there and that you're
Yeah.
paying attention, you're looking at them. And so it's kind of seems to be a good way to start the class as well. Even
That's a
though,
good.
I know who's there, I could just do it with look at them and write it down. We have to keep track of who came to the classes. But we call their name, they have to say yes. So they have to kind of establish their presence in the class, and then the teacher makes a connection with students. Again, with 26 kids, it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
Might
but
might
see,
take 10 minutes.
yeah, but for example, one thing that adding something about taking tendency about what you said, when I give them the books, because I usually pile the books in my in my drawer, and this way I get the books and I call their names, and usually, especially because we are in Brazil, so my name is in Portuguese Miriam, in English is Miriam. So I call their names. Another tip, adding your suggestion, it would be call their names in the language in English. For example, Daniel, in Portuguese, Daniel. It sounds
Um,
different when we say
right.
the name in English, and then
Mm-hmm.
this is a bit funny because they say, "Teacher, say my name in English." They ask
Ah,
me. They ask me, "Oh, teacher, please say my name in English." And then I call their names to give them the book in English. And this really works too, because sometimes, of course, in the beginning of the year, I still didn't memorize their names. So I am
yeah, yeah,
still,
yeah.
because there are a lot. And then this is a good way to do it too. So call their names in English, and this way it doesn't change. It change the sound, the name of letters, and it's a good idea too. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's
yeah.
nice.
So
Yeah. I think, it's always going to be a bit of a challenge when you're teaching in a foreign language, EFL, as a foreign language. Um, because, like you said, the students haven't had English class for a week at least, and they only have 30, 40 minutes a week, and it's very foreign to them, right? So it's quite a challenge as a teacher. Whereas if you're teaching math or science or something in their own language, at least you can speak to them mostly in their own language. So,
yeah, we know that in Brazil we have so many schools that they have some English program when they teach English every single day for even 30 minutes or maybe 50 minutes. We know we do, but it's just that moment that the kids will be exposed to the language. So that's why when I bring, for example, sometimes I send home some activities with the QR code of the video, one video that they were listening in the classroom. This way they will be maybe have an extra time listening to a song, because this way they will have another moment to speak in English too, not only in my class. So
Right.
we try. But see, I love the idea that you gave about, counting backwards. I will do it tomorrow. I will do
Okay.
it. Yes, I will do it tomorrow with my students,
Try
especially.
that and try that and the action warm-ups and then a song and just have a routine and just realize that maybe it's going to take to the end of that routine to get all the kids focused.
Focus.
I'm a musician and I still play live shows with like some jazz and blues stuff. And it always takes me as a guitar player maybe two or three or four songs to really get into the music.
Oh,
So it's this
see?
kind of idea that you start and I'm always a little bit nervous if I'm playing in front of people and then I relax a little bit by the second song and by the third song I'm kind of like really flowing with the music. So it's
Great.
kind of with the English class you can kind of think of the same way like starting kids might I don't know if they're nervous but they're not so into it and then by the song or the end of the first song they might be okay it's English time then they relax then we sit down read a book something like that.
Yeah, yeah. They take time to get into the vibe of the English, especially a second language, as you told me, that
Exactly.
when we are teaching a second language. So I understand that. That's a good point, especially the warm up part of the classroom, right? We call the warm up in the beginning of the
Hmm.
class. So I like this because we are struggling with this, transition moment. So I like the ideas that you gave, and then we always have to try different strategies. And you said a good point, following a routine, right? Following a routine, it's another thing that's very important. Yes, great. So
Yeah,
it's so
yeah. I
nice.
mean, with my younger students now, like 3 to 6 years old, because I've been doing school shows and I've been practicing all these songs. So I'm starting my classes now doing 3 or 4 songs in a row, which is kind of hard. I have to admit, if you're doing that all day long, if you have like 7, 8 classes a day as a teacher, that's very physically difficult. But some days I only teach 2 or 3 classes, so I can handle it. But and again, some students might not be focused on the first song, or even some students might really like the first song, but the second song they're not paying much attention, and the third song they're really all into it. It's just different every day. So
Yeah,
like you said, we have to just do our best and try our best every day. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes
yeah.
it's a difficult day.
And we know that, right? Sometimes the kids, they don't realize that it wasn't a good class because it wasn't the way that I planned. And then we say, oh my God, I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that. But it depends on the students because sometimes the students are very into it. Sometimes, maybe, as you said, sometimes they didn't wake up feeling well, especially morning classes. Especially
Mm.
morning classes. In Brazil, the classes starts at 7 a.m. So the
Oh
students
wow.
usually, yes, the students usually leave their homes like 6:30, maybe 6:15. What time do they wake up? Like 6 a.m.
Wow,
So
yeah.
they are still sleepy. When I ask them, "Oh, how are you today?" "I'm happy." "Oh," they say, "Teacher, I'm sleepy." So they used to say I'm sleepy, and they mean it because they are. So, and
Do you teach classes that early at 7 or what time?
yes, yes, 7 o'clock. I have my first. Actually, every Mondays and Tuesdays are my first class. It starts 7:10, exactly 7:10. So they are still, coming to the classroom, and some students oh, I forgot something. I forgot my pencil case. My daddy, they want to tell me what happened in the car because they want to talk. And the first class in the morning, it's a bit difficult because they take more time to connect.
Well, I think, for me, I don't have any classes that early. That would be also a challenge for as a teacher. I would think those really early classes to maybe even just take it slower, take it even slower.
Yep.
Maybe do a song, not necessarily do a song right away because the kids must be a little sleepy and just getting used to being at school for the day. And
Yep.
maybe read a book. Maybe clap your hands, do the warm up, take attendance. Okay, let's read a book. Let's relax. I mean, maybe don't say it to the kids, but
Yeah. Uh-huh.
um, maybe not necessarily start out all high energy with a song, because then as a teacher, you can't keep that up all day long. I mean, you could,
Yeah.
but it's
Yes, yes, I understand. And that's the system here. Because, for example, if I am teaching around 8:30, that student that started studying at 7, they might be hungry because it's snack
mm,
time. And if I enter in the class, okay, how are you today? And then I have the emojis and oh, hungry. All the kids they say, "Oh, teacher, I'm hungry. I'm hungry." So they are excited to have their snack, and then I say, okay guys, let's finish it. Sometimes I have to change what I planned because that day they are excited about, because they mean it. They are usually hungry that time. They don't want to, do some exercise on the book, because my first grade students, we have a book to follow. And thank God that the activities are so, visuals, drawing and coloring. So they get excited to do it. So I
mm,
cannot ask them to do something else because they won't do it. If they start coloring,
right.
they will finish coloring and that's it. And then let's play a song, let's make one action activity, one activity that involves movement. This way they get connected again. Otherwise, I lose them. Yeah.
Well, I think yeah, that's great. You have to kind of follow what the students are, feeling like they can do too, to a certain degree. Otherwise, you're just fighting against them.
Yep. Yep.
But one thing that overall I would say is, and I think you're really great with this, is your idea of teaching with joy. And you're at the beginning of these students' language learning journey.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think so much about, like, oh, like they didn't learn this or that in the class today, because it's the beginning and you're teaching them to enjoy learning English. They're having some good memories. They're, oh, I learned how to say I'm happy, I'm hungry with teacher Miriam, something like that. And that's the beginning of it. And then they'll move on to other teachers and throughout their lives, and we have to try to teach as much as we can in the little time we have with the students. But I think most important at these ages are just kind of relaxing and exposing them to the language of English and teaching them what we can, of course. But just realize we're at the beginning of that journey,
Yeah.
so can kind of relax a little bit with that idea,
Yeah, that's a good
maybe.
point. Because if they enjoy learning English right now, they will keep the seed in their minds and their hearts, and then they will enjoy, I hope, learning until they finish. Because if they like it
Right.
now, they are more probably able to understand more, with the second grade when they go upper and upper. So I like that. Yes, that's the way I
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
teach. I like to teach with joy. I like always to have some visual support, and this way I don't have to translate. I have always some flashcards, or I make some props. This way they have fun. Sometimes I have only a card that I make a foldable card. They say, "Oh, teacher, this is funny. Let's do it." And then I teach them how to do it, especially paper crafts. So this way we bring joy to their class. So I like that. I like teaching like that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I have to kind of wrap up here, but
Yep.
I talking about your crafts and everything, you show a lot of these on your great Instagram page. So everybody is, again, teacher Miriam
Oh,
underscore, and I'll put
yep.
that in the notes of the
Great.
podcast. Um, any last words, or how people can reach out to you if they have questions for you, or
Yes, if your audience want to learn with me how to teach with joy, follow me in Instagram because I like to teach simple techniques, simple craft that usually I make, and this way I have fun teaching, and I'm sure that the students will have fun too. Because I always say active teaching, active learning. So we have to try to balance this. I like to teach simple, keep it simple, because sometimes, Matt, we are trying to make something really complicated. No, no.
Mm.
With kids, we have to keep it simple. With this way, kids will enjoy because they feel that, oh, teacher, I can do it. And then we help them to do it. So I like doing this and I like to share these techniques in my Instagram. So if they have some questions or they can text me and send me a DM, I will be happy to answer and help everybody out there. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really
Thank you for
appreciate
this
it. And
invitation.
yeah, of course, of course. Let's do it again. Maybe we can do it again in 6 months or something, and then you can tell me if any of these ideas worked in your classes for
Yes,
the
yes,
transition.
I will. Yes, I will. I
I'd
will
love to
practice
hear.
and I will let you know. So thanks a lot and thanks for having me here. So thank you and congratulations for your job. One more time because we love our videos in Brazil, Matt. We love.
Thank you. Hello, everybody in Brazil. I hope to
Yeah.
visit you one day.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miriam.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.